Alright, this is just this is this is kind of gonna be me just talking. Okay, this is basically gonna be me just talking. Um I actually this was supposed to be me like thinking through my problem, which it probably will end up being, but I did actually finally leave my room after a long day of just like sort of rotting in bed and kind of like was solving my own problem, but I figured I'd just make this just cuz. Yeah, but I basically have I've hit a bit of a wall recently in life, which sounds so overdramatic because I'm just 23. Like it's really not that deep, but it's been feeling really deep. And I was just today sort of having a bit of a crisis about it, because so since I've moved here, I've been working as an unpaid research assistant, and then I have two jobs on the side to cover my ability to be an unpaid research assistant so I can have job experience, so I can get into a master's program, get a new job, whatever. Which, first of all, I think is an incredibly, I mean, I understand that it's necessary, because I think that research is just extremely sort of underfunded. But it's also incredibly cruel, I think, to people who aren't getting sort of funded by their parents on the side or living at home or something like that, because it's just, I mean, I'm doing so much work for the study recently. Like I've been working like every week, just hours upon hours. I'm like behind, um because of how it's worked out, and it's just like I'm sitting here like, why am I working nonstop and not making, like, feeling like I'm constantly financially like at risk. And it's like that, and just also exhausted, and I think it's because I'm working. If I was working these hours at a paid job, I'd be like financially thriving, but unfortunately it has to be unpaid. And so I think I've been feeling a little bit depleted the last few months, and just like I'm working so hard. Like I'm going to one job, then I'm going to another job, and it's like, multiple times a day. 6 days a week I'm working, and I'm constantly feeling under stress that I'm not making enough money, because I'm really not. And it's really hard. I think it's really hard when you're a smart person. It's really hard when you are the kind of person who is really, like, you have this vision, you have a goal. Like, I listen to a lot of finance podcasts. I'm really into it. Like, I really like my favorite. I love Financial Feminist. I have like the whole plan, like here, like everything for my whole life, like laid out, like in here. You see, even I have like, the vision board. I have everything laid out in here, and it's like, it's not feeling like it's coming fast enough, I think. And I've just been feeling really frustrated, and it's also just things that continue to frustrate me. Like, the job that both of the jobs that I got combined were in the past enough to make me like a pretty considerable amount of money, even though I was really burnt out. But I was putting money into my high yield savings account, and I was like, I was doing those things that I've been just envisioning myself doing almost back to when I was like a high schooler. I was like, I'm gonna be an adult and I'm gonna be really good with my money, and I'm, because it's so, it seems so easy. Like I have the plan, I know what I'm supposed to do. I have like amazing financial habits. I never eat out. I haven't bought myself anything like substantial, like probably in months. I haven't bought new clothes, nothing. Like, and I think that's why I've been able to sort of survive, but it's like it's draining. It's really draining, and it's especially draining when you know what you want to do. Like, I know what I would do if I had the money right now. Like I know exactly what I would do. Like I know exactly what I would, like, what I want to do with my career. Like I have such a specific vision and a goal, and I feel like I'm just working and working, and it's just not coming quick enough. And yeah, for one of my jobs now, it was in the beginning, like I said, very like consistent, good money. It was like covering everything I needed. And then both of my jobs, like at the same exact time, like they lessen my hours considerably. So I'm working much more for my research study right now, like to a draining degree, but I'm working a lot less on my actual paid jobs. So even less, like I've had even less money, and now my savings are getting drained. My little bit of savings I was able to sort of make in those months. And it's just really like sort of frustrating, and it's I think that it's really hard when you have that vision, because when things aren't working out for you, it's like it just feels so stagnating, like stagnant. Like, I'm if I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do, I'm putting like just endless like just hours into like my career, like, getting better in life. Like I'm like making myself be consistent, go through to the gym 2, 3 times a week through all of this. Like, why do I feel like it's getting worse and worse? Like, why does it feel like it's just falling apart all the time? And it feels like the amount of work that I'm putting in to my life, like it's not feeling like it's like sort of reflecting back to me. And I think it's also been a bit of an awkward transition for me, because I'm between what I got my degree in, and then at the end of my degree, like I figured out that I wanted to go into psychology. So I'm sort of in this awkward point where I don't actually have a degree in psychology, but then I have like this experience at like this really reputable place, but it's not been enough. And I've been applying to psychology jobs, and I just haven't been hearing anything back, which kind of makes sense to me because I don't have like the degree, and hopefully I'll have it next. But it just, I'm in a really awkward spot, and I had to make a tough decision today because um, I for one of my jobs, I won't be working it for 2 straight weeks, and I can't pay rent if I'm not working at that job for 2 weeks. So I've just been like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I just had to make the choice today finally to be like, you know what, like I'm gonna just apply for other part-time jobs that are not like at all psychology related, like coffee shops, like Pret, Joe and the Juice, whatever. One of the jobs, like it's funny because they actually had me do this like sort of like AI interview, and then they gave me all this unsolicited advice through the AI system. And we're just kind of roasting me, and I was like, okay, like I didn't even ask for all that, first of all. But anyway, so it was just kind of, I was just really irritated. But I was like, anyways, which those are fine jobs, like it's not anything wrong with them, but I think it's just frustrating because I've been putting all this effort into my career, and it feels like I'm back at square one. Like it hasn't even, it's not feeling like it's getting me further. And I think hopefully, fingers crossed, if when I get into a master's degree program here, it'll feel like it's paid off. But I think right now it's just feeling sort of like empty work, you know? And it just had me really thinking a lot. I think like I'm somebody who, like, I think my mind moves very fast. Like people always tell me I speak very fast. And I'm very like observant. Like that's why I'm interested in psychology, I think, partly. Like I'm very good at like seeing somebody. I feel like I see a lot about them like very quickly. Like I get a really good sense of people, and I've really been able to, I like to read tarot too, but I'm also like, I feel like I've been able to really suss people out and predict things before they happen. Like I'm very like, that's like my mind. Like I feel like I work like 10 steps ahead of where I am. Like I'm already there. And it's worked out that way for me like everywhere. Like my love life, my everything. Like I feel like I'm always like 10 steps ahead of where the other person is or where other people are. I'm like, I can already see like the end goal. I can already see like the vision. But I think like life like doesn't seem to catch up to me very fast. Like I feel like yeah, I feel like I move so fast and life moves so slow sometimes, and it just slows me down. Like, like I feel, it almost feel like, yeah, it feels like the world just slows me down all the time when I'm so far ahead, which I don't think is a bad thing. Like I think it's good. Sometimes I'm too fast. Like I think sometimes it's good to slow down. And I think it's good to get like that extra little bit of like, okay, now you're even more prepared. Now it's going to be even better when you get there. But I think that in the meantime, I'm like so annoyed because it's kind of like feeling like this constant rejection where it's like, I know the end goal already. Like I already know where this is going to go, but I have to sort of give up the vision, and then the vision still, it still comes. Like, I think at the end of the day, like I'll be like, oh, never mind, I'm crazy. Don't like ignore me. And then like it'll happen afterwards, but I think it comes after like considerable frustration of just like this is it. Like I know this is it, and I know what I'm talking about, and I know like that's the end goal, but like everyone's like, I don't know about that, or like, I don't think so, or like, like just stuff like that I'm like, are y'all, come on now, like we can't be seeing the same thing right now, because I'm seeing this, and it's like, and I'm telling you that happens for me in every area of life, and it makes me feel like the most insane person ever, because I'm like, are we looking at the same thing? And it's like, then I feel kind of gaslit, like, okay, maybe I'm just crazy, I'm the crazy one, It's like, I'm not most of the time. Sometimes I really am the crazy one, but But anyways, but I think that like it's really hard when you're somebody, and also like, but also I'm really creative, and I think that a lot of people who are really creative, like who have a really strong vision for the world and for life, it's really difficult. I think like just across the board, it's really really difficult and really frustrating to have a vision, and it's really rewarding at the end, I think, but it's just like it's so hard to like see something like new, or something different. It's really difficult because you're going to get so much sort of like pushback, and you're going to get so much frustration, and it's just like because it's something that other people can't see. That's the thing. I feel like sometimes, not like hallucinations, but I feel like sometimes like I feel like I see things that other people can't really see sometimes. Like again, like not in like a mental illness, like no, more like I see things like at a different in a different way. Like I just have a different perspective, and I think a lot of people are like that. Like I think creative people really are like that. Like you can have this idea, and like people like don't really understand, but like once it gets to the final product, then I think people understand it, because they can then see like, oh, that's really useful, oh, that's really cool, and then they're all about it. But there's a point in time where only you can see the vision, and that's when it's really irritating, because you're sitting there trying to convince people like I know I'm really smart, I do a great job at this. Well, but if they can't see it on paper, like they're not going to give it to you. Or um I know that you would really like be so happy, like be my friend, or stuff like that. It's like I know that this would be the case, but like I can't convince you otherwise. And like it's really hard, because then you have to sort of let go and just let things be. um and it's frustrating, but you just have to kind of silently continue like on the side. And I think yeah, at times I think that's my biggest shadow. Is like I think sometimes I'm just really desperate for people to see like the vision, and it's like they're the more you push people to see the vision, I think the more resistance they have, and the more pushback you're going to get. And you have to just kind of have it, and you kind of like have to just believe in it and just work on it silently. Now, what does this have to do with me getting a job like by next week? I don't know. Well, I think like let me see if I can think about that. I feel like sometimes I can get good advice for myself if I just like speak out loud. Well, I think I've been feeling stuck recently because the world is not moving as fast as how hard I'm working. Like, I've been doing a lot of new things. Like, I've been like reading research articles, like new things that I've never like I'm understanding, but it's like new. And like I've been like what else? Like working extra hard at my research assistant job. Like, I've been like going okay, I started going to the gym more. I started which it's funny because when it comes to something like the gym or growing your hair out, it's like you can get impatient, but you know that it's going to happen eventually, right? Like you know that it's going to happen, so you can kind of like it's my air fryer. You can kind of like take a step back and just be like, I don't need it right now. Like I don't need to have long hair right now. I don't need to have like a six pack. Like nobody in the world has ever needed to have a six pack in reality, to be honest with you. And like no, like I don't need any of that stuff. So it's like okay, it's fun. It's like it's fun that it's growing. I know that it's growing, but I think that there was like a time, or there's like I think it's really hard for like your life vision. Like it's hard for your life vision because I think it's really hard for money sometimes. Even though you can know you're the kind of person who's gonna do well, like I know I'm gonna do well in life. I know I'm gonna like probably one day I'm gonna be really, really financially stable, and because I have the personality type, like I'm the type of person who wants to be that, who has the desire for that, who's gonna keep sort of pushing for that. But it's just like it feels really out of control sometimes because like nobody can really like nobody's going to stop you from growing your hair out. Nobody's going to stop you from going to the gym except you. So it's all within your control. But when it comes to things like money or yeah, no, not even money, but like your job or like, like your overall vision, I think it's really hard, or even especially I think that's why people suffer in relationships, myself included, because it's like I cannot control what another person does. I cannot control like my external circumstances. I can't control whether someone will give me a job tomorrow or like next week or whatever. It doesn't matter how hard I try. I think I'm seeing so many really really smart people right now struggling to get a job, and it's crazy because it's like it doesn't matter how smart you are, like, to a certain degree. It's like the job market is crazy competitive right now, like, you know, everybody's kind of like struggling. It just feels like everybody's struggling. First of all, okay, that's my call for everybody to like rise up, revolution, whatever. But also at the same time, like, it's like we can't really do, like, to a certain degree, we can't do anything. It's kind of like, not we can't do anything, but it's like you have to just have patience. You have to have trust that it's going to get there eventually. And it's really hard at first. But I will say that I think that everything that I've like wanted to like a certain degree, like it was really high pressure, like it was really stressful, but like I look around like at my room, like there was a time when I first moved here, I didn't have a flat. Like I was volunteering at a hostel for like 4 months trying to flat hunt and being like, am I ever gonna get a flat? Like, am I just gonna live at a hostel for the rest of my life? No, I got one. And like, is that hostel gonna let me have my cat? Because my cat, I had to leave my cat back in the U.S. Is that hostel gonna let me have a cat? Like, I mean, not the hostel, the flat. And I did get one that let me have a cat, thank God. And then, okay, now I have the hostel with the flat. Am I gonna be able to get my cat here? I got my cat here. Everything worked out fine. Like everything worked out. And there was a time when my room was just straight up like empty. Like I didn't have anything in here at all. Like it was just like I finally bought like a set of string lights and like put that up, and I was like, wow, like we're really living rich now. Like this is crazy. I have like a singular decoration. Now my room is really cute. Like I have stuff that I've like put up and it's really sweet in here. Like even though it's small, I like it. Like I think it's a really cute room. And it's like I feel so grateful to have those things, and it's things that like I was visualizing for a long time, and I was like, "Oh my god, like it was so high pressure cuz it was like I don't know if I'm going to make it." And I think sometimes I know, it's like I know because I'm big into manifestation. I'm like I know it'll appear for me. Like I know it's one of those things like growing out your hair. I think about it all the time in terms of like manifestation, your goal. It's like it looks like it's not growing, but in reality your hair is always growing. And one day like you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, like my hair is so much longer. And it's not that it was like it magically grew an inch or two like overnight. It's more like you didn't notice like the small shifts, and then one day you saw like the picture like come together and you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Like now I have long hair. And it's like, where did that, it feels like it came out of nowhere, but it didn't come out of nowhere. It just came out of like, it was just naturally going to happen that way because you're naturally growing. And I think that like I try to see my life that way. Like sometimes like I think I'm just accumulating things and just doing things. I'm like, this is for nothing. Like because I have such a specific vision in my mind, and I'm just like really like sort of there. Like I'm there. And I think that like sometimes it's more like it's your hair growing. Like one day I looked around and I looked at my room and I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like this is really what I had like on my Pinterest boards. This is what I was visualizing. This is everything that I said I wanted. And all of a sudden like it's there for me. And like um even though it was there already, but it was just like I didn't really see it, and then one day I saw it. Or like I've been trying because okay, I'm so burnt out. I think the last thing that has been on my list is like sometimes my room gets messy and I'm just like I hate it. I don't like being in clutter, but I think when I'm like I've been working so hard at life, I think like the last thing is like my room being clean. I'm like I don't care. I'm just going to go to bed. I'm exhausted. I don't need my room to be clean for me to get to work tomorrow. So it's like I'm not going to clean my room. And I think that I'm like, but I really hate my room being dirty. Like I don't like being not clean. Like I want to be cleaner. And I think that like it's like, I've been noticing myself like doing a little bit more cleaning like here and there. I'm like vacuuming more my room, like even more, like just going like more thorough, like deeper. And I think that it's like one day I think I'm gonna look at myself and be like, whoa, I'm like a really organized, clean person. But I think right now, like it's sort of more like I'm so obsessed with being there, and like I'm so obsessed with like I'm still in the mindset of like I'm not an organized person, or like I'm a messy person who's trying to be clean, even though I'm already starting to take the actions of like I'm a clean person. Like I'm already starting to take the actions, but it's just like I think there's a threshold that we don't notice of like oh, this is not enough, and all of a sudden one day you look around and you're like, whoa, this is more than enough. Like, and I think that's like sometimes I get that way with my job. I think I'm like, oh no, like I'm not working hard enough. So I'm like working, and like learning one more thing, read one more thing, like, and then I'm like, sort of like, oh, why, like, and it's like, what is the point of all this? Why am I doing this? And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, like I actually learned a lot. Like I'm actually overworking way too much, way more than I was supposed to because I keep telling myself to work a little bit more. And I think like, yeah, I think it's really just about like those little things that you think are just like sort of like nothing things and you're just doing it and you're like, why is this going nowhere? Like it will go, it's your hair growing. It's like one day you look around and you're like, this is insane. Like how did I even get here? Like all of a sudden I have these things that I wanted and I was visualizing for all this time, but it just happens in little increments. Like you don't see it right away. So but it's hard because you don't know the moment that it's going to switch into that. Like you don't know where that threshold is. And I think like for me at least, like I feel like when I can't see it, I'm gonna just keep doing thing. Like it's actually kind of bad. Like I think I'm really sort of an overworker, but I think like it's more like I'm just doing like because it calms me down. Like, if I don't see it right away, that means like I haven't done enough to get it. I think that's my mentality, which isn't good. But it's like sometimes it's like, okay, so I'm just crazy accumulating like all of this stuff. Like I'm crazily accumulating all of this like knowledge and all of this stuff. Like, I'm just like, but it's like I don't, and I'm tired and I'm like, this is for nothing. But it's like, no, I think you're just significantly ahead because you're actually just doing all this work for nothing. And then like you're like one day it kind of becomes something and you're like, whoa, that's crazy that I even like got here. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's really just that. I think like, I don't know, if you're like in that sort of zone of like that liminal space zone of like, oh my god, I'm just doing all this work and like nothing is happening, and it's like it is happening, but it's just you can't like see it 100% yet because it's your hair growing. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden you turn around, like I think the minute I know this for a fact, seeing as I can see the future the way that I can. I know this for a fact. I know the minute I get like a new job or like something that's like a little bit higher that I'm getting, because right now I'm like flatlining and maybe even go a little bit lower because I've been having to pull out of my savings. But I'm like, I know the minute that I get like that new job or like that thing that's making me that slightly higher income, it's like then I'm gonna look around and be like, whoa, like my financial habits are crazy right now. Like I don't feel like I need to eat out because I've learned all these recipes. I feel like I have all of these things that I need. Like I don't feel like the urge to go out and do like a crazy shopping spree. Things like that. And I'm like, I know that my savings are going to grow really rapidly. Or all of a sudden I get, this really big job. Now I know about like all this financial stuff that I've been learning about that I've been feeling like it's for nothing. But it's not for nothing. It's just like, I think it's just that sense of like, what am I doing this for? But it's like you're just the minute you get the thing, like it's just you're gonna like explode into this whole new stage in your life. And I think like that's really like the point. I think like you shouldn't look around and be like, why am I just working for nothing? Like you're just your hair is growing, and like you're spiritually your hair is growing, and like or like your garden is growing. Like I've been looking at it as like a garden recently of like I'm planting seeds, and if you sit there and you watch your seeds grow, like and you're waiting to see like something, like you're gonna think that it's taking forever. But if you just like calm down, like seeds take a while to grow. Like they don't pop up out of nowhere, but it feels like it. One day you look outside and you're like, whoa, oh my god, like why is there like this giant plant in my house? And it's like, yeah, but it looks, maybe it grew that fruit overnight, so now you're sort of looking at it like oh, now I have like that's crazy, now I actually have a plant. But I think it's more like your threshold like was finally crossed of like, before I was sitting there and looking at it and being like, like this isn't enough, like this is just a sprout, this isn't like, this is like all it is a sprout, all it is a stem, it just has one leaf on it, like it's just not good enough. And then one day when that threshold is finally crossed of this was the vision, then you're like, whoa, how did this came out of nowhere, like how did this happen? But it didn't come out of nowhere, it just came out of like, I think growth is just like you can't always like see it, like it's just happening, um but yeah, I think that's probably just it. Like I think it's probably just your threshold at some point is crossed, and I just hope my threshold is crossed soon for this job situation. Like I don't care, like Pret hire me, like just somebody hire me. I don't know, because I'm tired of this, but also like, I think it's just really just about don't get obsessed with waiting for that fruit to grow, and just keep watering the plant, and just treat your life like a garden. Like, treat your life like your hair, like your garden, like your gym habit, whatever. And like, don't sit there and look for, if you're looking for results all the time, like, they're there, like they're coming, they're already in the process, but they're just not. But it's more about us. Like, I think it's more about our, like, you know what I mean? If we had, like, if we as humans had this sort of like ability to like see each little like micro nano like growth, I think then we would maybe have a different relationship to the world. But I think like we can't. We can only see things in like the obvious, you know? We can't see things in like the non obvious. Like, you know, I mean, if you were looking at it from like almost like a spiritual eye, or like something, like, I think you'd be like, whoa, like that's crazy. Like, my hair is actually growing so fast, or you know what I mean? Or like, you know, but I think that we work in like very obvious, like very like almost like how to put it, like almost like has to be very like we have like forms, like, you know, we see things in like forms and very like in specifics. And I think like the world is just growing around us, and we can't see everything. And that's the thing, as human beings, we cannot see everything. We cannot see, like, you know, shrimp see more colors than me, fine with that. But I just think that it's more like um we don't really know like everything that's going on. And I think that we can't see the growth the way that like maybe some magical alien could see it, where it's like, like, are you serious? Calm down. Like, it's right there, but you can't see it. We can't see it because our vision is so limited. I think as human beings, our vision is so limited. We have very like laser focus. I don't know. So I think that's really it. I think like I felt better, and then I was like, why am I? When I went on my walk, I was like, I think I just needed to leave my room, and I was just getting into a spiral for nothing, and I was just like, there's just like there's so much you can do. Like, you're not stuck. You're not, you know, anything. Like, just keep like just calm down, and like, you know, like everything gets figured out. Everything is okay. I know everything seems dire. Like, I know that's the truth, because like I was in such a state, like earlier I was so stressed out. And I think like it's like that's not to invalidate, like it is really stressful. I was stressed. I was like, how am I paying rent this month? What am I gonna do? Like, but I will pay rent this month. I can tell you for a fact that I will pay rent this month. And I haven't missed any rent. I haven't missed any utilities, anything, which is a blessing to me, because that's not even the state. That's not even what I grew up in. Like, when I grew up, like all the time we were like missing rent or whatever. And you know, I think that's like already a step up in my life, feeling like, okay, I'm not having a crazy amazing, you know, I'm not like jetting off to like Spain on the weekends or anything, but you know, I haven't missed any rent. I've been able to pay my utilities whenever I've needed to. I've been able to pay for my master's degree programs, even though that took me time, and I'm not going as fast as I want to, but I'm doing it. And I think like, yeah, I just think like sometimes it's just when you have big goals, big visions, like you just get so worked up and so stressed out, like, you know, oh my god, like it's not happening for me, it's not working out. Like, calm down. Like, it's just like you have high standards, and like you have a specific goal, and you don't know exactly like what's going to get you there. Like, you just don't. Like, it's but it is gonna, you are going to get there probably, like, you know, or like you're going to get realigned there, and it's going to meet you there. But it's like you can't be sitting there and just stressing about it 24/7 and thinking like, I'm not growing, I'm not getting there. You are getting there, and you need to look at like all of the ways in which you're already getting there, and all the steps up that you have already taken to get there, you know? Like, just please, like, tone it down. Like, I think that's the advice I give myself. Tone it down by like 1,000. Like, it's just really not that deep. It's not that stressful as you're making it. And you are like, the world is your oyster. You know, the world is full of opportunities. Things pop up all the time. Like, and there's always a solution. Like, always, always. There's no, like, you know, if you're gonna be alive at the end of it, there's a solution. And if, as long as you're alive, you can keep going. Like, as long as you're alive, there's gonna be a new path. There's gonna be a new opportunity, you know? Like, literally, that's it. Like, if you're alive, there's gonna be something for you, and like you're gonna be okay. And I think, yeah, there's so many things out there. Like, there's so many programs, jobs, like everything, new goals, visions, plans, whatever to make. It's like the world is like endless, and it's like, don't freak out because you can't see the answer right away. Like just take a breather and like it'll like flow there. But like you need to just let it flow there and not get freaked out when things seem hectic and scary and all this stuff. Like, it just that's the world. I think yeah. It's hard when you have like big standards for yourself, but like you got to trust that you're going to meet them in divine timing, in due timing, whatever, you'll meet the standards. Just meet your standard for like your everyday, like just meet your standard for like maybe your habits or or if those are too high, calm down. Like don't push yourself to that even. Put like meet your standard for like self-love today. Like, like just like be nice to yourself today. Like that it's just like you can there's always a standard that you can meet every day, but it's like you don't have to meet like that ultimate standard right now because it's just growing. Yeah. That's it.